He's got a mid-range game. He's 6'10", with a J, with a mid-range game. Not his three-point shooting, and obviously his defensive tenacity. They question that. But in the end, in terms of being safe of the three, you got to look at Banchero and say, that's the safest pick. I'm not saying I'd pick him number one. I'd consider it. I like Jabari Smith as well, but I can't just poo-poo Paolo Banchero.
And what's safe in today's game, the game is so hard when you can't shoot. Yeah. So what's safe to me is what Jabari Smith brings to the table, because he's going to be a knockdown shooter.
Okay, listen, the Vegas odds earlier today were taken off the board because this is unpredictable. The pick is in. Let's go to the commissioner.
With the first pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Orlando Magic select Paolo Banchero from Duke University.
Banchero, fourth player from Duke, selected #1 overall, most of any college, joining Zion Williamson, Kyrie Irving, who's been making some news today. More on him later on, and Elton Brand. Getting the love from his family. Proud of his roots from Seattle. The ACC Rookie of the Year, averaged 17 points and 8 rebounds and 3 assists per game. 6'10", 250 pounds. You know, prior to becoming a freshman star at Duke, Banchero was a freshman backup quarterback at O'Day High School near Seattle. As we get to know him, find out he was mistaken for one of the best quarterbacks on the planet. Check this out.
My mom, she finished first all time in scoring when she left University of Washington. She was a basketball coach. After her practices, we stayed an extra hour, 45 minutes working on my game. She would see me on the side, you know, shooting backwards or throwing up garbage, and she would, you know, stop practice and yell at me real quick. A lot of my tattoos have ties in my hometown because obviously I want to take Seattle wherever I go. Got the skyline on my shoulder, the street I lived on growing up, the name of the street where I first started playing basketball on the inside of my arm. I was at the F1 Grand Prix in Miami. I was just really enjoying the experience of the race. And next thing I know, a reporter was tapping me on my shoulder. Thought I was actually Patrick Mahomes. It was hilarious. Now, heading into the NBA, a lot more people are going to know my name.
He's definitely not Patrick Mahomes, but trust me, he will make sure he jumpstarts that organization that is, of course, Orlando. And you take a look at the Duke players drafted in the last 23 years, starting with Elton Brand, #1 overall to the Bulls, then Kyrie Irving, 11 years ago to the Cavaliers, #1 overall. Zion just 3 years ago going to the Pelicans, and now Paolo Banchero adding his name here as the Magic get the pick, and surprising a few, because Jabari Smith was the guy that many people were targeting here in Orlando. Monica McNutt with the Seattle native.
Paolo, Mom Rhonda, congratulations. Yesterday you told me you've been Watley since 2010. Now that you're here and the #1 pick, how does it compare to what you dreamed?
I don't even know what to say. I can't believe what just happened, honestly. I never would have thought that this would happen. You know, I wanted to be in the NBA, but I didn't know I would be here, man. I really honestly didn't. So this is unbelievable, and I can't speak right now. I'm sorry.
Well, we'll give you a break from speaking because we have a little surprise from someone special to you.
Paolo, congratulations. I'm so happy for you and your family and the commitment you've made. You are, I think, the most versatile player in the draft. You can play anywhere on the court, and you're a winner. You're going to help tremendously and have a terrific NBA career.
You join the legacy of Duke players drafted into the league and got to play for a legend. What did your experience as a Blue Devil teach you?
taught me a lot, you know. Coach K, he really taught me, you know, how to really be a man, you know. Just being away from home, being so far from home, like he was there for me, you know, whether it was criticizing me, telling me when I was messing up, or complimenting me, letting me know when I was doing well. You know, he was always there, and he's the greatest coach I ever had.
Before there was Coach K, there was your mom, Rhonda, who has joined us this evening. But we've got to go back upstairs. Congratulations, Paolo. Congratulations, Mom Rhonda. We know you are his inspiration.
Thank you.
Monica, thank you so much, Rhonda. Taught him the game when she was an assistant coach at Holy Names Academy, an all-girls school in Seattle. And that was a surprise, guys. Again, Jabari Smith was targeted. He was part of the conversation the minute the Magic won the lottery. And right now, you saw Paolo's reaction. He was even surprised, Stephen A.
Well, listen, let me say this. Jabari Smith, you can make a case for him, of course, but I'm very happy for Banchero. It's not like he didn't deserve it. But I think when you consider what you saw from him, combined with the video from Mike Krzyzewski and what Mike Krzyzewski had to say, you draft somebody like him, it ain't just because of his talent, Jalen. It's because you're thinking culture building. Clearly, Orlando is saying, we're trying to build something here, and you've got to have a foundation. We've got some talent, but this kid has talent, and he's a culture builder. That's what I took from this, Jalen.
Absolutely, no question about it. He'll come right in and be one of the leaders in the locker room. They did a terrific job of drafting the last few years, but he now becomes their best player. And they're going to take on his identity. And the thing I like about this, the guys that I mentioned prior, they're slight of build. He's also brings some physicality up front. Of course, he has to improve from three-point range, but mid-range, scoring with his back to the basket, and a cutter. He's going to be a really good cutter on pick-and-roll actions as well.
And let's be real, Paolo Banchero won us over in 1 or 2 games. When we saw him play at Duke, we're like, he's definitely likely to be a #1 pick.
Oklahoma City on the clock, and the pick is in. Let's go to the podium with the commissioner.
With the second pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, the Oklahoma City Thunder select Chet Holmgren from Gonzaga University.
Chet Holmgren. You know, he was teammates with Jalen Suggs in high school in Minneapolis for 3 seasons, getting the hug from his dad. And his dad, of course, very famous for that camcorder. Dad David, Mom Sarah Harris. By the way, Dad played ball, 7 feet tall, went on a visit to Houston when Hakeem Olajuwon was there. He later would go to Minnesota. Bad knees were the problem, but right now, Chet Holmgren, you're going to hear this word a lot. At 7 feet tall, 195 pounds, that word is unicorn. We will get to that word as the night continues. But the journey here for Chet Holmgren. You know, the term Big Brother is always watching. Well, for Chet, it's more like Big Papa is always watching.
My dad played for the University of Minnesota. He started recording my basketball games. I think it was like 6th grade. He said I wasn't boxing out, and I told him I am boxing out, and he said he's gonna start recording them so he could show me. I was right, of course. Maybe. So I think my dad started out with like a basic little home video camcorder. He upgraded a couple years ago, and I think he just upgraded again. And this year, some of the different TV outlets started making the little graphics during the game and showing him recording the games. It was just kind of funny to start seeing this stuff on Twitter. I'm very thankful of everything he's done and the positions he's put me in to help me be successful and be the player I am today.
Chet, yesterday you told me you like to stay 2 feet in the moment. You wouldn't even look ahead to the possibility of tonight. Now that you're here, describe what's going through your mind.
Everything. It's a mix of 1,000 emotions, and yet I have 0 words to explain it. This is, you know, everything I've looked forward to for a long time. You know, OKC Thunder, let's work. Let's work.
You wouldn't be here, of course, without the support of your mom, Sarah, and your dad, Dave. And Dave, your camera has become almost as famous as you, and so we got you this trophy because now as your son goes to the NBA, we wanted you to have this award as a videographer of a lifetime because you probably got to retire your camcorder
I gotta give it to him.
at the NBA level. But Dave, you've watched your son grow and pour his time and energy into the game. When did you know that he could play at this level?
Oh, that was when I saw him making moves like a guard. They weren't polished, but they were there, and that was probably about 5th, 6th grade.
Dad Dave, Mom Sarah, Chet, congratulations. Thank you guys for coming to hang out with me. Back to you, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Going to upgrade the camcorder. He says he's still going to shoot him, of course. Chet, the highest drafted player in Gonzaga program history, now at number 2 overall by the Hornets back in 2006. He is the most intriguing prospect here because of the unknown. Especially, Stephen A., when you look at his size, 7 feet tall, 195 pounds. Over the last 2 seasons, he's gained 12 pounds. And when you look at his frame, joining Sam Presti's team in Oklahoma City, how do you view it?
Man, the only problem I got with him is the fact that, I mean, in my younger years, when I was younger and I had a slower, faster metabolism, I still weighed more than him. That's my only issue with him. I love his game. I love his father video in his game. I love the excitement that he's going to bring to Oklahoma City. I get all of that, but I have to say this, Jalen. I have to say this, Shanae. Listen, with all of that being said, this is not the only great player that Sam Presti has drafted. We talk about Kevin Durant. We talk about Harden. We talk about Westbrook, Ibaka, Reggie Jackson. You acquired Paul George. You had Victor Oladipo. I mean, the list goes on and on. 0 championships. We know what Sam Presti brings to the table. He's an elite executive. We understand that. But when are we going to close the deal? I'm hoping Chet Holmgren can do that because somebody needs to in Oklahoma City. They always have great players.
So they have Giddey, they have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Right.
This is where you swing for the home run, Stephen A. This is the guy that you amask all of those picks when you see him in high school and he's going between his legs behind the back and he's leading the nation in blocks. Like, he has a chance to be like not only a terrific performer offensively, but a game changer defensively. And in transition is where he's really going to
look what he did here as a 17-year-old, attending Steph Curry's SC30 Elite Camp. And this is where he became famous on YouTube. He put on a show. That's a block on Steph. This is a few years ago.
Let me tell you, right now, Steph's watching that. He's doing just fine. He's doing just fine, right, Stephen A.? You were right about the Warriors. I got to give you your credit.
That's right.
But we talked about Unicorn. Look at that. Behind the back with the handle. I think a lot of people probably wanted to see him more, offensively at Gonzaga, but he stays within his role. He plays team basketball. To be able to be a shot blocker with a handle, push in transition, have a face-up shot. It's really impressive. And I know a lot of people talk about his frame, but have you ever seen Giannis Antetokounmpo when he got drafted? Yeah. I mean, I know those are different genes, but you have to give the young man an opportunity to go into his professional
I will say this before I pass it to you, Jalen Rose. I'm done underestimating dudes based off what I did off of what I didn't see in college. I made that mistake with Karl Anthony Towns years ago. John Calipari wouldn't allow him to shoot jump shots. I had no idea he could shoot. He's the reigning three-point shooting champion, averaging over 23 a game in the pros. I ain't doing that anymore. I'm done. I'm done with that.
When basketball players retire, if we don't get in the gym, we gain weight. When football players retire, they lose weight. Yep. So the difference, what I'm saying is, as a basketball player, he's going to grow into his body. I can name 100 examples. You mentioned Giannis. How about KD? KD fell in the draft and went behind Greg Oden because people said he couldn't lift 185 pounds.
And who's laughing now?
And right now,
they've been laughing for a decade.
The pick is in for the Rockets.
With the 3rd pick in the 2022 draft, the Houston Rockets select Jabari Smith Jr. From Auburn University.
Okay.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. Someone that could have gone up one super skills. I love this. Running alongside Jalen Green.
Young man, 6 months younger than Paolo Banchero, full year younger than Chet Holmgren. Now, this team, when you talk about outside shooting, you're adding a guy who's 6'10", versatile, 220 pounds, and shot 42% from 3.
And the reason I'm so excited, for those who don't know, I'm from Houston. And so we are talking about amassing talent and getting these draft picks and nailing them. I think he's a home run. I think he's a layup pick for the Rockets.
Jabari Smith's NBA family tree includes his dad, Jabari Sr., and a former #1 overall pick through their experience. He learns that basketball doesn't owe him anything and to keep his feet planted right on the ground.